Baby, my name is Ross Mandell, and welcome to the show today. We're coming to you live from 5-Star Entertainment. We're at Mammoth Studios in Boca Raton, Florida. I'm coming to you uncut, unedited, uncensored, unfiltered. I'm entirely unrehearsed today, and yes, I am still. I'm under arrest. I gotta say, I've triggered a shitstorm of controversy. Believe me, I did not intend for that to happen. I thought that I could come before you and share with you life-changing, momentous stuff. Momentous! The 12 steps originally assembled and put together by Bill Wilson and Dr. Bob, a physician and a stockbroker, in 1935, when they managed to stay sober a day at a time. These are two fellows that could not stay clean, could not get a day, a week, a month without alcohol. They were in crazy houses and sanitariums, and they were broke, and they were just done at the end of the proverbial rope. And somehow they managed, by reaching out to each other, one sick, afflicted person to the other, not advising the guy, but sharing his own experience, strength, and hope, something marvelous happened. And they began with personal admissions, and they talked about a greater power of God that could bring their mind back to sanity. They realized they're not in the result business. They're in the effort business. Just hand it over. Give God the issues. Let him figure out what the result's going to be. There's nothing you can do about it anyway, so why worry about it? And they decided to sit and do a moral inventory. You know, it's their inventory, not what you did to me, but maybe what I did to you and how I felt about everything, who I resent and who I dislike, who I loved, who I hurt, who I did this to and who I did that to, and how I feel about everything. It's about feelings and understanding what's going on inside you, much like when you inventory a business. We went through this yesterday. There's an admission of God into another human being. There's character defects. We make a list of people we harmed. We make amends. Then we have the living steps. You know, we do daily inventories. We don't let resentments fester. We promptly admit things. We seek God, and we seek to continuously get closer to God. Now, the name of the book, the text that was published in 1939, was called Alcoholics Anonymous. I want to say firstly that everything I say today and yesterday and on a going forward basis is my opinion. I am speaking only for Ross Mandell. I am not speaking for Alcoholics Anonymous. I am not speaking for anybody else in the program. You know, the program is based on anonymity. Who you see here, what is said here, let it stay here when you leave there. I can tell you I'm an alcoholic, but I can't tell you who else is an alcoholic. And I will not. I will not tell you who goes to him. It's not important. I'm just sharing with you my experience, my strength, and my hope in the hopes that just one person out there will benefit from this. Because what we've learned is these 12 steps are a blueprint. They're like an engineer's schematic, how you should live your life. I had this conversation with a fellow today, actually out in Hollywood. He's not an alcoholic, and he's not addicted to drugs. But, you know, he just doesn't have these principles embedded in his psyche morning, noon, and night. Some people do. My wife is just naturally lives the 12 steps. You know, there are people that grew up in normal households with loving and doting parents and healthy environments, and they understand this manner of living, a sober manner of living. Many of us grew up in those same households. We don't get it at all. And I'm talking about the Beaver Cleaver household. The father knows best how. I know it means nothing to most of you people. I'm dating myself. But what I'm saying to you is, if in fact certain principles, a certain way of life and dealing with life, reacting to life, doesn't come naturally to you, then you should examine yourself. You don't need a head shrink. You don't need a psychiatrist. You don't need to be taking pills for antidepressant, pills to get up, pills to go to sleep, pills to function. What you need to do is an admission, is to find a higher power. and so forth, right down the line. 12th step, you need to carry the message. You need to help somebody that's less fortunate than you. Look at my story. I was arrested July the 9th by the federal government, charged with 2 counts of securities fraud. Guess what? I'm on $5 million bail right now. This is a very, very tough way to live for anybody. I don't drink. I don't take drugs to get high. And I live a sober, clean life. I'm married to one woman. I have my 2 children. I'm a member of the community. We're responsible. We're caring. We're loving, good people. And I will say this to you. In spite of the fact that I was arrested on national TV, I was perp-walked, fellas, in front of millions of Americans. There are people out there that have it a lot worse than I do. And so what I've done is I've extended my hand over the last 15 months. And a funny thing happens. If I help you for some amount of time, I'm not worried about me. If I'm really doting or caring or helping somebody else, I'm not living in my own head. It's a bad neighborhood here. Too much time in a bad neighborhood is unhealthy. So, you know, when I first came around to the program, I was very depressed. I was 33. I wasn't married. I didn't have a girlfriend. I didn't even have a friend. Okay? Nobody cared about me, and I didn't care about anybody else. I was shaken. I was shaken and bacon. No drugs, no alcohol. It was a frightening, frightening thing. And I felt bad. The poor me's. I suffered from the poor me's. And a sponsor, a guy that had some sober time, that had been through some of these steps and these experiences, somebody that I asked to help me, he took me to a hospital in New York City. He took me to a cancer hospital. On the first floor is the children's wing. I was really down. I didn't have money for a cab. I couldn't come up with $5. I was $1 million in debt. That's correct, 1990. And we went and we walked through this hospital, very famous cancer hospital in Manhattan. And you saw the parents standing bedside with their children. You'd look them and they'd look you back in the eye and you knew they're putting up a big front. They knew there was a good chance their children are never getting out of that hospital. And all of a sudden, I stopped feeling so badly for me. You see, there are only 2 people in the world I got to watch out for. And there's only 2 people in the world that you got to watch out for. Poor me and the great I am. And there are only 2 days you don't got to worry about. There are only 2 days that I don't have to worry about. Yesterday and tomorrow. These are principles that evolve from this program and these steps. I got to learn to live in today, not worry about an outcome that hasn't happened yet. My mind is so nuts, I can create a situation that's going to happen in the future and actually live in it and feel it today as if it actually happened already. Can anybody out there relate to that? I've received dozens of phone calls and emails since yesterday about these 12 steps. The most important things I've heard are people saying to me, I didn't know. I didn't know that 12 steps could help me because I'm not an alcoholic. I don't have a drug problem. Anxiety, loneliness, despair. People are suffering financially. People are hurting like never before. Unfortunately, I predict it's going to get a lot worse until the people in government wake up, Washington. Wake up and understand what the problem is. Okay? The problem is Washington. That's the problem. And until our government wakes up and smells the coffee, we're going to suffer more and more. Many of us take pills, we drink, we act out in crazy ways, and we think it's just like we had a moment of weakness. We swear we're never going to do it again. Well, guess what? We find ourselves doing it again. After we swore it wouldn't happen anymore. Overeating. Regurgitating the food. Gambling. Oh, who doesn't gamble out there? Come on now. I know I'm hitting a nerve with a lot of people. Can't stop. How about pornography? No one talks about that. How many people are addicted to pornography? How many people say, I'm not going to do this again? 2 days later, they're up all night and they're doing their thing. I promise you this. This is a roadmap to recovery, a blueprint. This is about self-mastery. I love that. Self-mastery. Thank you, Doug. I really appreciate that. And I know you guys out there do too. They say that a man that can master himself is greater than a man that conquers a nation. And I get that. I get that. You have to conquer yourself. We tend to live in fear. We live in anxiety. Anxiety is man-made. God didn't give us anxiety. God gave us love. This will help you walk through the valley of the shadow of death. You will learn to live in faith. The opposite of fear is faith. Because if you have enough faith, you've got nothing to be afraid of. There's nothing in this world that can touch you, that can hurt you. Nothing. It's all about your level of faith. And I promise you that when times are good, it's easy to believe. It's easy to believe. I personally learned when times get tough, I live in these steps. I live in faith. And it allows me to function and enjoy, to live, to love, to laugh, and to get the benefits of life. So we're talking about mastering yourself. It's about admitting. It's about turning over. It's about taking an inventory. It's about cleaning house, getting rid of the bad stuff. And it's about learning to live a good life a day at a time. You will see immediate results if you take these 12 steps. My name is Ross Mandell. That's SSL. I have a website, www.rossmandell.com. I'm on YouTube. That's Ross H. Mandell at youtube.com. I'm on Facebook as Ross Mandell. My personal email, ross@rossmandell.com. Thank you for your thoughts, your comments, and your feelings. I salute you. People say to me, what guts you have to sit there and what courage you have to get in front of a camera and reveal yourself so openly like that. I tell you like this, what courage you guys have. What guts do you have to come out and support me publicly and to send me these emails, these private thoughts of yours that are so revealing and just so moving. I find it such a privilege to be on the receiving end of that. And again, I salute you. I am humble to you, and I am grateful. My name is Ross Mandell. We're going to see you soon. And thank you once again for sharing a little bit more about the 12 steps and self-mastery. Thank you.